We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
What we do not do is spy unlawfully on Americans.
We are leaving in 2014, period. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive.
You are listening to Biting the Bullet with Luke.
So the new, for all of you that don't know, we were just talking, but we decided we should probably start the show. The new self-defense case just dropped. I don't think this one's going to be as big or as bad, but I mean, the last one was white on white crime and everybody made it about race anyways. So maybe this one goes just as far. Anyways, I was just saying, like in Kyle Rittenhouse's case, like I'd put myself in their shoes and like, if I would react the same way, if I was doing that same thing. And it's like, I'd probably react very similar, or like, hopefully I'd react very similar. Like, I think what he did was justified and it would be the same thing that I would do. And I'm not saying my moral like compass is the correct way to legalize things. I feel like I'm a pretty good judge about it though. But in the teal shirt guy case, I don't know if I would have shot him after he grabbed my gun and threw me. Well, I wouldn't have let that happen. First off, I wouldn't be pointing a gun at somebody that close to me, especially it looked like an AR-15, but like 22, because the way those shots were going, they just didn't sound like 5.56 to me. 2.23 sounds a little bit smaller, you know, it just doesn't have the same boom. But yeah. I wouldn't have let that guy that close to me if I really needed to bring a rifle out. And then once he grabbed my gun and threw me 10 feet from where he was standing, I wouldn't have raised it and took 2 shots. But he did that shit quick, pop, pop. And old teal shirt went down quick. But then the whole video was fucking weird. Did you watch the whole thing? Like, it was like when it switched to the other person's point of view, the lady in the car, like the wife of teal shirt guy. And I don't know. The whole thing was weird. Like, it seemed really like inauthentic and kind of staged. I'm not saying that it is, but it just gave me weird vibes all the way through. And
you can't trust the internet.
I know.
Like, you can't like any video. I mean, dude, there's people on the internet that fully believe that the Kyle Rittenhouse thing was staged. The entire thing. And like, I didn't even think of that. Now I need to be more open-minded in these ideas. But when someone sent me this Instagram page and they went through like all these different, like, I was just so baffled. I was just
Have you seen the one where it's Kyle Rittenhouse is actually a tranny? Was that on there?
I don't know. If Kyle Rittenhouse came out as a tranny, he would break the internet.
I still haven't watched his interview with Tucker Carlson. Honestly, I just didn't. Good. Yeah, I just don't care, and like, it wasn't that big of a thing for me. Like, obviously the case itself was important and it was super interesting watching how it was going to play out, but after that I was like, I'm ready for a new toy. Bye, Woody.
Yeah, we're done with you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing interesting that came out in that interview, really, I mean, everything else was just you kind of expected, and plus he's just like a kid. But the only thing that really came out that was interesting was just how he was in jail for like 89 days.
Yeah.
And apparently his lawyers, just like the ones he had before he hired Richards and the bald dude, they like left him in jail even though they raised like a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, your lawyers are trash, dog.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I saw that clip and I was like, damn, that's pretty fucked up. And then I obviously saw the ones about like Black Lives Matter, him saying that he supports Black Lives Matter. And then him saying that he or the new one that was like on some of the libertarian Facebook pages, people were upset because he said, look at how they treated me, and compared to, like, just imagine if it was a person of color or somebody that didn't have the financial means that I had to go through this. Point. And they're like, well, that he's just perpetuating the same, like, libertarians are like, he's just perpetuating the same racial stereotype that lefties promote. It's like, oh my God, like, I don't think that's
a good fucking
true.
Point, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't think they're like, he's perpetuating the same racism that lefties perpetuate. And I was like, no, he's really not. You just said he had a better financial station than other people that go through this, and he got lucky and it got picked up by the media like crazy because it was made a race thing and it wasn't really a race thing.
Yeah, it was totally overblown by the media. And then, I mean, fuck, dude, he's just cashing in on these fucking interviews, and fuck, I probably would too. But
yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. But I heard he didn't even make any money off of like doing the Tucker Carlson thing, which is really? Smart move by Tucker.
Yeah. He's
but
like, we're gonna try and keep as much cash as possible with this interview.
Yeah, and that but that Thanksgiving thing, dude. My Thanksgiving was not that interesting compared to their Thanksgiving.
Well, I didn't see that. What happened with that?
Well, I was talking about the teal shirt, dude.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about something happened with Kyle Rittenhouse on Thanksgiving. I was like, wait, what?
No, I think he like
my Thanksgiving was pretty boring. I got to wake up 7-ish and then went and played golf with my girlfriend's brothers and cousin. And that was dope. We had a good time. I still suck at golf, so there's that. They're trash too, so it didn't matter. And then I came home, took a nap, watched some football, and the Cowboys fuck me again. And in my bets this week, the Raiders have fucked me 2 weeks in a row. Last week I bet on them to win, and this week I bet on them to lose, and they did the exact opposite both times. So fuck the Raiders, and I can't believe the Cowboys sucked a dick so hard that they let Derek Carr, of all people, throw for over 320 yards yesterday. And that really pissed me off. But I hit a bet at the end of the night with the Bills, so that made up for it. And I got a bet tonight, Friday, for the Suns and the Knicks. Got a little parlay going. And it should make me, if it hits, about like $400. So I'm excited for that.
Fuck yeah, dude. I just hung out with my family, helped my dad make Thanksgiving food. And we had, dude, it was actually crazy because I didn't think about it, but it was the first Thanksgiving I had with my family since 2011.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So it was like almost fucking, because I went to boot camp in 2012.
Yeah.
So that was weird. I mean, I've been home for a few Christmases because that's the big one, but it was pretty weird because I was like, oh, this is strange. I'm usually like hammered by now, but
yeah, at my parents' house or something.
Yeah,
you're at my uncle's house.
I'm either at your family in Arizona or we're doing like some Friendsgiving fucking shit.
Yeah. That was the good part about, I really enjoyed Thanksgiving in Okie. We always had fun. And it was just a whole bunch of us. Like it was, we could say whatever we wanted and do whatever the fuck we wanted. And I fucking Mufasa Reyes at Ferk's house one Thanksgiving. Totally let him drop off the side of a house after he asked me for help to get back up onto the roof. And those were good times. I remember our heavy equipment guys trying to fry a turkey in the back of our building, of our barracks in Okinawa, and they usually did a pretty good job. They never caught anything on fire, and sometimes it was a little burnt because they got a little too drunk and forgot it was in there.
Yeah. Well, the H&E guys are like the rednecks, dude. Like, I don't think I knew any of them that were not normal from bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was one thing, because like in Okinawa, in like 29 Palms, I don't know, we could, I don't know, leave and go to like your families or go wherever we wanted, just get the hell out of 29 Palms. But in Okinawa, we didn't really have a fucking choice.
No.
So it was fucking cool. And like, I don't know, you get like 20, 25 people all gathering outside someone's fucking house and we're all just hanging out. Usually it turns into like Thanksgiving feast into like drunken shenanigans real quick, but it was always really fun. I miss those days.
Yeah, those were always fun. And I'm looking forward to having my own house at one point and that becoming a thing. Go do the parents and everything like that during the day. And then after that, like all the friends come over and you have like an actual Thanksgiving dinner and get fucking hammered afterwards. Those are the good times. Those are the good times. Watch the kids be fucking retarded, play tackle football, one breaks an arm. Like, you know, those are the good times.
Put some ice on it. It'll be all right.
Yeah. We'll figure it out in the morning. None of us can drive right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Thanksgiving was good. I hope everybody out there had a good Thanksgiving. I had to work today, the day after Thanksgiving, which sucks, but I get I get Christmas Eve off, which is a Friday, I believe, and then the Monday afterwards. So it's either I get the day after Thanksgiving or I get to use it on the weekend of Christmas. So I was like, I'll take it on the weekend of Christmas because then I can get a 4-day weekend there.
Yeah.
I'll take a short week this week.
We were a little spoiled in the military, dude, because anytime a federal holiday came, we would be like, pretty much, 4 days off, no matter what. And then like, and everyone kind of knows in the military, those, the days before the holiday and kind of the days after, especially like Thanksgiving all the way up until like basically New Year's. The military ain't doing shit.
Yeah,
like,
we ain't doing shit.
In general,
everything else is basically shut down.
Yeah, if in general, if you're garrison, man, you ain't doing anything. I mean, you kind of just go to work and fake it until the day's over. Like
everybody does.
Much.
Everybody fakes it.
Yeah, and I mean, in Okinawa is probably the worst.
Even worse, yeah.
Just because, like, I mean, there is some like probably not that many, but there is like it's mainly like the higher ups that leave because they can afford it. Like they can leave.
None of us. Yeah, so they're all gone, and the rest of us are just like, well, they're not even here. There's not really much for us to do, especially that week, like the week of. Like if it was this week, and you know, every year it's on a Thursday, but like Thursday, Friday, you definitely have off. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you ain't doing shit, and you probably didn't do shit Friday of the week before.
No, it's all nothing. Like it's like that's the literally like I don't know how many times. Well, I mean, I found out like because I think one time I went home for the holidays. I think
you did Christmas.
Yeah, just one time. But every other time that I like just stayed, because my first year in Okinawa, I just stayed there, and I mean it was like 2 months of nothing, and it was great. I mean, half the higher ups were gone. Usually the ones that were left were like the cool ones because they have no family like the rest of us. So
the whole like all of like halfway through November, everybody gives up, and then nothing starts again until like this second week of January. Like we're not doing shit for those months.
Yeah, and then the only thing that sucks is you have to do like, I mean, at least I don't know if we had to do it in 29 Palms that much, but we had to go to like these Beating the Blues classes or whatever. We all stack into the theater, and they basically tell us like, I know you're going to be sad around the holidays because you can't be with your family, but don't kill yourself. And that's pretty much.
And everybody just during the whole fucking brief is like, I'm going to kill myself because I'm in this brief.
Yeah.
Like I don't even care. I don't even really want to kill myself just because you're making me take this class. I want to kill myself to prove you that I'll do it just because this class is stupid.
Yeah, I think if you're, I'm not saying that you should kill yourself in the military. Definitely don't. That should be the last resort. You should get help, reach out. But
if you do.
If you're gonna do it, you should write on the note that your suicide letter that you did this because you had to do the bullshit classes in the Marine Corps. I think you would save
help everybody out.
Yes. Like, if I'm not saying you should, but if you're so determined and I can't stop you.
And you know what? Like, if you don't do that, then you're just selfish. And you know, that's why everybody told you to do it in the first place.
You're already gonna put the unit through shit because we had to go. I remember when that selfish lady killed herself in Okinawa, and we had to go.
That selfish 19-year-old.
That selfish 19-year-old that was having serious family problems and didn't get along with anyone. Well, when she killed herself, we had to go to a bunch of classes. Yeah. You remember that shit, dude?
Yeah.
When we're like,
I missed it. I left right before that.
Oh, dude.
I got to miss all that bullshit.
I know. And it was weird. So what was really weird is like, so H&S Company, we didn't really like, there was a few people that knew her, but overall we didn't really know her.
Yeah.
Just how it was. But the first sergeant, he just came from that company. So he was the first sergeant of that company that the lady killed herself. And then he moved to our company. So when he talked to us, he was like super serious about it. Like he was I think he actually escorted her body home too.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
Did he remember her name?
No.
No, he didn't.
No, I'm just kidding. He probably did.
I remember what first sergeant that was. That was actually like a really cool first sergeant. He was just a hard ass.
Yeah, he was like that old school kind of Marine Corps first sergeant you expect. Like, you know, he'll shoot the shit with you, be buddy, but if you have a fucked up haircut, he's bringing the hammer down on you.
He was like 38 and looked 55 too. Like,
yeah, he did,
dude. He looked like Mattis, but was 25. Like
yeah, he honestly did. He'd be like, I thought the same. I thought he was like one of those first sergeants that like he waited to join. Like he was like, I was just like, he was like went through boot camp at like 25 or some shit.
Yeah.
Like I thought, but then no, he's just old. And I was like, or just young and just been through the Marine Corps for almost 20 years. Literally
fucking hell.
He's been in the demilitarized DMV for like 19 years. Dude. It's fucking hell.
Yeah, that guy was intense. But yeah, I go on with the story about all the classes that you had to do.
Yeah, dude. So it was, I don't remember. I think it was like right before the weekend. And so instead of, you know, how every fucking before the weekend starts, we got to get a Liberty brief telling us what not to do for the weekend, basically. And this one had to be an extra like 45 minutes.
And they're already like an hour and a half.
But I will say, because the unit was like, oh, we're gonna have like, there was like a good 6 months that we had a lot more fun days in the unit because they were like, oh shit, these guys really hate it here, like we better do something. And we started having like fun days or whatever. But I remember when that happened, because the first sergeant told like all those leaders of whatever sections to like talk to your troops or whatever. And my sergeant's like, he walked up to me, he's like, hey, are you gonna kill yourself? And I was like, no. And he's like, good, I'm gonna go get drunk now. that was it.
Well, yeah, you had a little bit different fucking sergeant at the time.
Well, yeah, I had a weird case. Like I had a weird experience in the military because I didn't have like a regular unit platoon or section like everybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, I thankfully I missed that. We had a suicide in 311, I think, while I was there. And I was like, I don't even know. I think I had just gotten there and they like had gotten, or it had happened right before I got there or something like that. And I was like, I don't even know who this fucking person is. And I had the EO person come up to me and was like, hey, you doing all right after so-and-so? Like everybody thought I had been at 311 for like my entire enlistment. Like I swear to God, my fucking my CO on my checkout interview, my commanding officer, he was like, for H&S, I think it was H&S. maybe it wasn't. It was what one of the command, whoever we fell under. I don't even remember anymore. But he was like, yeah, you're getting out? And I was like, yep, I'm getting out. And I was a sergeant and everything. And he's like, well, make sure you're getting the help that you need and everything. You know, you went on what, two tours while you were here? And I was like, what? Who the fuck do you think I am, bro? I came here from fucking Japan. He thought I had been with the unit for fucking 4 years, and he had been with the unit for 4 years. Like, these people don't even know who the fuck you are. But when I'd first gotten there to that unit, the EO guy was like, how you doing after so and so? You know, everything went down with that. And I was like, dude, I don't even know who the fuck that is. I was like, I don't even know who are you? And he told me he was the EO, and I was like, oh, what happened to that guy? And they're like, oh, he killed himself. And I was like, oh, no, I no idea. Don't know who the fucking guy is. I'm not going to kill myself. But thanks for asking, you fucking weirdo. Like, everybody just thinks that they know me, or that's usually kind of how, even when we were out, remember people would be like, you look really familiar. Do I know you from somewhere? And I'm like, I have no idea who the fuck you are, man. Like, no, I'm not from Kansas, or no, I didn't go to school at that high school, or like, everybody seems to know me from somewhere, but nobody knows where. And that was like the weirdest. It was always so weird. It's always so weird when, you know, somebody commits suicide in your unit. Everybody's kind of walking on eggshells, especially higher ups, because it's usually their fault.
Yeah, they're all nicer. All of a sudden, they're instantly like, oh, they're gonna be a little bit nicer. They're not gonna, like, you might not get yelled at as much, but then that blows over after like a month or two, and it's just back to the same old bullshit. Yeah. But the girl that, now I don't know if this is true, because this is all through the Lance Corporal Underground, and half the time it's right and half the time it's wrong. But I heard that she literally hung herself with the McMat belt.
Nice. Well, the fucking one dude at Nick's unit hung himself with the fucking shower curtain, so anything is possible.
Dude, that's impressive.
That is impressive. You have to work for that. Like, he really wanted to do it.
Like, I don't know. Like, all the shower curtains I've ever had always have, like, if I tried to hang myself,
they can barely hold the plastic rings.
Yeah. Like,
the plastic rings always rip through them.
Yeah. Just from you moving it back and forth, they fall off. Like, I don't know how, like, 175-pound dude, like, the whole bar would just cave in, dude, and I'd fall on my face, and then people would come in and laugh at me. Like, I don't know how.
I wasn't trying to kill myself. I was jacking off.
Yes.
That's what I think most hangings in the Marine Corps are. They were just trying to rub one out, and everybody's like, yeah, we're gonna say he killed himself.
Yeah.
At least for the dudes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. And like, I don't know. It's all weird because the atmosphere just, it's weird because, like, it's almost like, because how the military structure is, where everything fucking sucks, that you almost, in a way, to lighten your experience there, want someone to kill themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit.
Because, like, things get better all of a sudden. Like, oh, they like, troops are hanging themselves in their rooms at night. We gotta, like, make things better. And it's like,
why do you think I told that one guy to jump when he was saying he was going to commit suicide that one time in 29?
Dude, that was
like, fucking jump,
intense. Bro. That was intense, dude. That was so. That was like my first day to 29 Palms. Like I was probably like my first week. I already seen you and met Jared before that, but I remember it's probably like the fall, because I think I got there on like a Wednesday, and then we jetted to Phoenix like that weekend. Yeah. And then that following week, I think it was field day, and you were running field day for like your people. And I walk up, dude, and we're like smoking and joking. And then all of a sudden you look up, dude, and this dude's on, was it fourth? I guess it was fourth deck or whatever. And
he was on like, third deck first. And then after I started telling him, he went up to fourth deck. And I was like, the height isn't going to help, bro. Just go head first.
Yeah. And like, this dude's like crying, and he's like, I'm a fucking jump sergeant. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening right now? Like, fuck, dude. Like, I'm about to witness a death, like, right when I got here. And I mean, that would have been pretty cool, but The guy didn't do it, dude.
Pretty metal. But it wasn't even my fault. He was mad because his girlfriend broke up with him and he didn't want to be in the Marine Corps anymore. No, it wasn't because I was like, I just want to make that clear. It wasn't because I'm like a hard ass. I wasn't a fucking hard ass in the Marine Corps. I was like, I don't give a shit what you do. Just don't get me in trouble. And even if you get me in trouble, if it's for something stupid, like we think is all stupid, I don't really care. I'll get the ass chewing. They don't like me anyways at this unit. Because I had already denied orders at that point. And so I was like, I don't give a shit. So it wasn't even because of me. He was just being a fucking bitch about not wanting to be in the Marine Corps anymore, which I get. But at the same time, I was like, bro, we're all stuck in the same fucking shithole. And I didn't quite have the same views as I do now about the military. But he was just doing it because he wanted, honestly, he just wanted attention. And he had been a person that had wanted attention for a while. It wasn't like a brand new thing. So I just walked up there calmly and I was like, well, just fucking jump then. Like, just fucking jump. My day's going to get better regardless. I'm going to go home and drink after this. I don't care. I don't care. So jump or don't jump, but stop causing a scene because nobody cares. Nobody cares. So just jump. If you like, just go ahead. And then one of my gunnies showed up and he was like, Sergeant, please go away. And I was like, all right, just let him know. Nobody cares. He can jump if he wants to. Just make sure he goes head first.
Yeah.
Make it worth something. And that gunny like knew too. So I never got a talking to about that, which surprisingly I didn't, because that's probably a pretty good complaint. Probably shouldn't tell junior Marines to kill themselves when they're threatening to kill themselves. But I knew he wasn't going to. I just wanted him to know that if he wanted to, I'd back him. I'd tell everybody that he did it on his own free will.
I support you in everything you do.
Yeah, I was a very supportive NCO at that time. You need a step ladder? I can go get you one.
Dude, you got to get to the roof, dude. The balcony's not high enough. You'll probably just like break your neck and be paralyzed. And then,
well, that's what I was
then
telling
your girlfriend's
him.
really not coming back.
I told him, I was like, I don't know if third deck's going to do it. You might have to go higher. And that's when the gunny came. And when the gunny came, he went up another floor. And I was like, I think he's serious, gunny. I think he's real serious. Yeah, poor Ginger. He had no soul. It didn't matter anyway. It wasn't a loss of life in this life or the next because he has no soul. He was a Ginger.
Yeah. I feel that, dude. Like,
no.
I mean, what was he, like a year and a half in?
Yeah, probably about somewhere around there.
I wonder if he made it, dude.
I think he was getting separated out because when I'm a nice guy. Listen to this. When I was on my way out, I had to take him to his, fucking
counseling,
emotional. Yeah, his counseling, his support at the mental hospital on base. Took him all the time. He talked to me about music. He obviously didn't hold a grudge. So if you get butthurt about me telling this kid to go kill himself, fuck off. He still liked me. He knew he was being a bitch, and I told him he was being a bitch. I took him to his fucking counseling appointments 6 months later.
Dude, so when I was forced to go to my like little counseling shit
for being a drunk bitch.
Yeah. So I mean, the fucking like counselor ladies, like I know they're doing their best, but they're not very helpful. But we did this stupid fucking like segment thing, right? And they wanted us to just draw a picture, draw anything you want. So naturally, I drew like a bunch of random shit, dude. Like I drew like a tank blowing up a building. Like I drew like aliens coming down from I don't know, I was just being stupid. And the counselor lady, the one that was running it, she also drew something or whatever. And then we were supposed to talk about it, like it's supposed to reflect your emotions or something like that.
Like so I drew a tank.
I was like, I drew like just destruction, like chaos, dude. And so they're like And I was like, and then like there's a couple other guys there, and I was just like, I took this whole thing as a joke. I took everything as a joke. So I'm just fucking around. And then the other guys are like laughing because I'm drawing like dumbass shit. But they're like drawing, I don't know, whatever to the fuck.
Their fucking life.
So they get like, we start going over these things, like going over our drawings, and the counselor gets all serious. And she's like, wow, your life is really chaotic. And I'm like, you know what? You're not wrong, but I'm just drawing random stuff here. But the funniest part was, I forgot God damn it. I forgot what she drew, the counselor lady. But if you look at it from a distance, it looked like a penis. And so a couple of the guys pointed that out, and like, we're like, what does that say about your emotions? Like, are you how's your sex life, counselor?
She was thinking about that D.
Yeah, dude, it was hilarious. But when she was coming at me, like then they're like asking me like, what is this? And I was like, it's a tank blowing up a building. It's an alien and abducting someone. Like, I don't know. I drew like, I wish I saw, I have a picture of it on my phone, but it's just the
You took
dumbest.
a picture afterwards.
Yeah, dude. And because I sent it to my dad, and I was like, apparently, because I drew this, my life is in shambles.
Dude, I love how it's like what that one test where it's like, what can you see in the ink spots, you know, like that psychology test. And I was like, I would be the most horrible person. Like, they'd be like, oh my God, like, what is wrong with you? Because like, I would just make shit up. Like, I don't see anything here, bro. Like, I don't say what comes to your head. I see my father abusing me as a child. Dude, like, exactly. Like, I would just say, like, I don't know. I think it's also the one thing about psychology that's kind of fucked now is that you've seen so many parts of psychology in like TV shows that you kind of know the answers to questions. Like, you're like, oh, I know how to ace this quiz. Like, it's like a fucking Marine Corps test. Is like, how many times, like, I had to go to the doctor for my fucking shoulder and shit. And they're like, how many times a week do you drink? And I'm like, only on occasion. I only drink on occasion. You know the answers already. I know the answers. I know what gets me in quicker and what gets me to a fucking mental room as fast as possible. I'm just autistic enough to know when I'm being questioned to see if I'm autistic. So I know the correct answers. So I'm not autistic.
Yeah, especially in the military, dude. Like, it's not like you just lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all you have to do. And you pass. And it's not like the person giving you the test cares. They don't care.
No.
They want you to say the correct answers too, because if you don't, they got to be like, they got more fucking work to do.
Yeah.
Like when the docs, when we do the annual checkup thing in Okinawa, like, I don't really remember if I ever did it in 29 Palms, but they would be like, how many drinks do you have in a sitting? And I'd be like, Jimmy, we drink together. You know the fucking answer, dude.
You already know the answers.
I was like, dude. And he's like, yeah, but I just need you to answer the question. I was like, Jimmy, just put down, we'll pass. Like, just get me to pass, bro. Because
I don't need to pass with flying colors. I just need to pass, bro.
Well, their standards are like strict though.
Yeah.
Like, if you have like
more than 2 in a city, like 2 in an hour, they're like, you got a problem. Like, 2 in an hour. Like, I have 2. I'm almost down with 2, and we've been sitting here for 30 minutes.
Yeah, dude. I was like, 2. I think I even, after like messing with Jimmy, I even like, okay, he's like, I don't know, dude, put me down for like 3 in an hour. And he like looked at me, and I was like, 1? Like, what's the answer?
I don't drink. I don't drink.
3 was low. Like,
well, that's because the amount that we drink, especially then, was like abhorrent. Like it was bad. Like don't get me wrong, it was bad, but like I wasn't falling down drunk all the time. I built a tolerance.
Yeah. Well,
I could still drive.
I was like, dude, like if everyone in like 9th ESB, it just fuck it, H&S company, they answered that correctly, like half of the Marines there would be deemed alcoholics.
Probably more than half.
Yeah, probably more. Even the ones that we wouldn't even say were drinkers. It would just be like the ones that would occasionally drink with us sometimes.
Because they would be binge drinkers, because the couple times that they come out, they'd get really fucking hammered with us. Yep. And so they would be bingers. And so they would be just as bad. Like that's looked at just as bad as drinking a fucking fifth every night.
Yeah, it wasn't even about necessarily like how often do you drink. It was like how many did you have in one setting. And so it was like we failed on all the way across the board.
Yeah, you and I fail. Yeah, we'd fail constantly. I mean, it was like the challenge of doing, so let's see who could keep it when we got the fucking breathalyzer. And it was like, let's see who could keep like over the legal limit to drive for a whole month. And it was like you'd have to go to sleep as drunk as possible so it'd stay with you till the morning. Like you had to be able to keep the 0.08 up for a whole month. And I think Pruitt and I got to like day 35 or 45 or something like that. I was literally drunk for over a month. Like that's probably a problem. I get that. I understand. I don't do that now, but it was a challenge. I still went to the gym. I still did everything else.
Yeah, I ain't no
more productive than most people. More productive than fucking cokeheads and shit like that. Like I don't know. It's a different fucking world. And there's people that will listen to this and are like, yeah, like we did some stupid shit, and I probably wouldn't do that now. But I sit down and we're drinking. Like I'm probably drinking at least a 12-pack if I have a 12-pack in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a totally different world, like just a different beast. And it's probably somewhat similar to like college, I guess.
Yeah.
But like probably 1,000 times more. Like they would discourage it, but also encourage it. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Like very, like you would get like they'd be telling you like, oh, don't drink that much, and then your sergeant's like, fucking down this shot right now. Like,
yeah, let me buy you the next 3 drinks. Remember the NJP shot, or not the NJP shot, but the NJP drink that we got on New Year's Eve, like 2000. What was that? 2016 or 2014, 15?
I think it was 15.
15? Yeah. So it was, So 2015. And it was, what was it? It was basically the 4 horsemen.
Well, it was 6 different types of alcohol. And I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Basically filled up to the top of the cup. And then they'd splash Coke. And then they'd tell you, you drank, I pour Coke. And you're like,
and so you try to drink as much as you can so you could get as much Coke, because after the first splash and drink of it, it was horrendous. It was like, well, we had a picture of it. It was like Soko, Captain.
It's on my Instagram.
Do you have it still somewhere? Dude, it was fucking intense. And I was never the one that blacked out and forgot. You kind of blacked out and forgot, or you'd brown out a lot. Well, no, you'd black out a lot in Okie. Like you would fully not remember entire nights in Okie.
Conversations, nights, everything.
Yeah, I never really blacked out. I would brown out sometimes, not really though. I usually remembered everything. But that night when we had those, did you find it?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? What was in it?
It's tequila, Jack, Soko, vodka, gin. So it was only 5. Okay, so it was 5.
5 and a splash of Coke. And it was in like, a 22-ounce fucking glass. And it was all alcohol with a splash of fucking Coke on top. And then they told you to drink so they could pour more Coke in it. And you're like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck? And that shit was horrible. It tasted horrible. It felt horrible the next morning. And I just remember the fucking Japanese guy saying Happy New Year, and then the N-word constantly the entire night.
Yeah.
Because he thought it was funny and we'd all laugh at him. He was like, what, 85?
Dude, I don't know how old he was, but he was just, I think he was just like literally some homeless dude that saved up money to come in the bar and he kept, actually, it was the day after New Year's.
Oh, it was. Yeah, because it was January 1st.
Yeah, he kept saying, like, when like the countdown to January 2nd, like, I guess he was keeping track. And he started, Happy New Year. And I don't know if he understood or what, but we're like, fuck it, dude. It's Happy New Year.
Yeah, it was basically the New Year's in America at that point, because New Year's for us was the day before. But I don't know. It was fucking wild. But that's probably a drink that if you drink that, if you even give yourself the opportunity to drink that drink, you probably should go to AA. But I'm really glad I never did go to AA, because from your experience, that just sounded horrible.
I went, well, they wanted me to go like once a week. Yeah. And I had to get it signed by the like AA instructor. And so it wasn't even like my fucking choice. And then I went there, like, it wasn't even like it wasn't even that the alcohol is what, like, I was an alcoholic at that time. It was just like I made a bad decision while drinking alcohol. So they made me go to fucking AA, and I walk in, dude. And like I'm like, all right, let's see how these meetings are. And it's like a bunch of fucking dudes that are getting kicked out for like doing heroin, for like, dude, it was insane. Cause like, it's like, hello, my name is Adam and I am addicted to heroin. And I'm like, whoa, like, dude,
where am I?
And like, I was like, and then it goes around in a circle. And I guess I was like, hello, my name is Tyler. And I guess, according to the Marine Corps, I'm addicted to alcohol. But then I just never
been a dick about it and be like, I'm not addicted to anything. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. Well, like,
I played the Marshawn Lynch card.
I even talked to the dude afterward, and I was like, dude, I don't think, and I explained this to like the fucking, like, the Marine Corps, they go hardcore. Like, if you fuck up, they make your life hell. And they do it every way fucking possible. I made me go to counselors. They made me go to AA. And I was supposed to go monthly or weekly for like 30 weeks. And then I was supposed to turn it back into the Sacco. And I went one time and I just never went back. I was like, fuck that. And I had like 6 months left in the Marine Corps. So when I went to go, I was like a little nervous to go check out with the Sacco, because I'm like, I don't want this dude to be like, oh, do you have that that paper with your AA signatures? And well, thank God it's the military and they're garbage. And he's like, oh yeah, like, he's like, I'm glad you're doing good. You're going to college and everything. And like, yeah. And the Sacco like completely forgot. And I was like, thank fucking God.
You're like, because I definitely didn't go for 30 weeks.
Well, I'm going to tell him myself. I got the signature and then I just started forging that dude's signature and I brought it with me, but I wasn't going to give it to him unless he asked, and he never asked. So I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Because his stamp, the stamp the guy used happened to be the same stamp that our S3 guys had. So I just took their stamp.
Yeah, of course it was. That's fucking insane. Like I don't know. I remember you going through all that shit, and I just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Because then, that was a whole time period in your life, dude. That was like a moment of your life. Like, I remember it was like the shit.
Last 6 months of my Marine Corps career, and it was absolutely the worst time of my life.
You weren't allowed to drive your own car. Like,
yeah.
Dude, it was so insane.
I did something bad, and the Marine Corps, I think they kind of over punished me, but like, whatever. I'm not going to complain. I broke the rules. I'll suffer the consequences. Not like I didn't know they didn't exist.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, dude, I was on restriction for 45 days. Didn't get to go to my last Marine Corps ball. Spent Thanksgiving, dude. My officer like pulled strings for us to go spend Thanksgiving with him at his house, and because it was me and Shane, the other guy, and so we went, and like 30 minutes in, Shane looks at me and he's like, we should have just stayed in the fucking barracks. I was like, this is actually worse punishment, because it was so awkward. It was so awkward because his like, he's a boot lieutenant, and his girlfriend, fiance at the time, whatever she is.
He was the new lieutenant, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was brand fucking new. And I felt bad for the guy because
he like, just inherited a shit show.
Yeah. We just inherited a shit show because I was like the dude in charge. And then he shows up, and then he became the officer in charge. And then like a month later, I get an NJP. So like this dude, and so it's like, this guy's going to disregard everything I say. He's not going to listen to me. And I'm like, whatever. But we would go to this Thanksgiving, dude. And like, I don't know, like, because you know me, and you know Shane.
Yeah, I know Shane.
We're not sophisticated, especially at the time, and we were not wanting to have like, oh, like, what are you gonna do after the Marine Corps? And like Shane literally was like, I want to live in a van by the ocean.
How did we find the two people? How did we find the two people in the Marine Corps that were like happy to get out and be homeless? Like, we made those two people our friends.
Do I feel like there was a few more people that were probably like, honestly, there's a lot of people that, I mean, I think some people said it as a joke, but I think at the time in the military, a lot of people would be like, I'd rather live in a van down by the river. Like,
yeah. I mean, I would have taken it. I would have taken that if I could, just get away with it. Like, I would have totally taken that over being in the Marine Corps.
You know that scene in Interstellar when Matthew McConaughey is like banging on the window, and it's him, and he's looking at his past self, like say bye to his like daughter, and he's gonna go save the world or whatever. It's like, if that was me, it would be me watching me like enlist, dude. I'd be banging on the no, don't do it. Like, that would be me, dude. Like, looking back, I'd like, especially the last, like when I don't know what it was. Okinawa, we thought was bad, which it was. We thought it was bad. But 29 Palms,
it was just way worse.
It really is hell on earth.
Dude, I think the worst part was like the impending financial ruin of 29 Palms. Like, you could never stay like, I felt like I could never like save money. Like in Japan, I saved money like it was cool. Like, it was fucking cool. But in 29 Palms, you're so far away from everything that all your money goes to goddamn gas and then food, because you're like, I'm not eating fucking here. I'm not eating here. Like, I'm just fucking not. And they were more strict. Like in Japan, remember, I had like my little griddle and everything, and I'd fucking cook food in my room, just open up the window, and they didn't care. They really didn't care. They didn't say shit. But in dude, the first day I did it in 29 Palms, I had the staff NCO show up to my door. Like, I was just like, what? I'm just cooking some goddamn breakfast on a Sunday morning, my own bacon, my own fucking shit. And he's like, the chow hall is literally in your barracks. Like, you can just walk to the chow hall. And I was like, the chow hall is fucking garbage, staff sergeants. Like, I'm not going to eat there. I have a perfectly good griddle. It's not causing like a shit ton of smoke. You're just mad because you can smell it, and your wife doesn't cook as good as this. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, but they like, you couldn't eat in your room. Like, I don't know, dude. It was fucking insane. 29 Palms was way worse.
It was weird, dude, because like in Okinawa, everything was shittier. The barracks was shittier. The beds were shittier.
Yeah.
I
definitely had a nicer room in 29 Palms.
Yeah, but it was like worse. Like,
yeah.
I remember after being there for like 3 or 4 months, I remember us talking to me and like, dude, we should have just stayed in Japan. We
Yeah.
should have stayed in Japan. And we were telling like Nick, I was like, dude, it's not as green on the other side. Like it's just not, dude.
Stay.
Because you don't like, it's fucking miserable there. So staying there for the weekend and then like the next week comes and you're like, fuck, man, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
So then the next weekend you jet and you go wherever. You go to Vegas, you can go to Phoenix, that's where we went most of the time. LA, San Diego.
Coast. Yeah.
But then that cost gas money. Then that cost
And hotel room money.
Unless you knew somebody. But
Yeah.
that never worked out exactly right.
No, it didn't.
No. And so it was like, I don't know, dude. It was like in Okinawa, it was like we had more rules, I guess, but also less rules in a way. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't even know.
Well,
how to
everybody stayed all the time in Okinawa. So you were always with the group and there was a lot of people doing stuff together. And in 29 Palms, there was just everybody was off to the wind. And then you were like, well, I don't want to be stuck here. So you try to go off to the wind, but then you're like, fuck, dude, this is costing me a lot of fucking money. So you'd stay in and then you get depressed because it's like forcibly stayed in. Like you were forcibly stayed in Okinawa, but everybody else was forcibly stayed in with you. So you like had fun. We were playing fucking croquet, drinking Coors Light and orange juice out on the fucking battalion field in Okinawa. Like that shit was one of my favorite days in the Marine Corps. It was so much fun. And we didn't do shit. We sat there, acted like we were fancy as shit, drinking Coors Light and orange juice.
We called them redneck mimosas.
Yeah, they were redneck mimosas, and we played fucking croquet because somebody ordered a croquet set off of Amazon. Our buddy Micah did. And then we were like, by the end of it, the sticks were broken. We were throwing the fucking hard ass croquet balls at each other and falling over like drunk retards in the middle of the battalion field. And it was like, that was one of the best fucking days ever in the Marine Corps. And or having to go play fucking softball every Saturday night or Friday night because we weren't going out and we just played drunk softball with like against one of the other companies in the battalion. Like those were some of the best times ever. But in 29 Palms, you couldn't do that shit. You go drinking anywhere outside of your barracks, they would fucking PMO would snatch your ass up. It was like the most, yeah, it was so locked down compared to the only difference was that you could actually leave. And we were telling people like, bro, just stay in Oki, man. Like just stay in Oki.
Yeah, I mean, even like the E clubs on base sucked. But like for some reason at Okinawa, like I mean the one on our base was okay, just when you get like a group of friends and go. And then there'd probably be some fights that break out, and that was always cool to watch. But and then you go to other bases, like I know we went to like Kadena, the Air Force base sometimes, and that was always fun because there was actually girls there. But then like I went to me and Nick, I don't know if you ever went, but me and Nick went to the E Club on base on 29 Palms once.
Yeah.
Dude.
That
it was
place
just
ass.
like, yeah, it was asshole, dude. I mean, it was just like when we went in there.
It's literally comm school students and like playing fucking pool.
Yeah. That
not even allowed to
school
drink.
Students, and then like that weird fucking guy that always shows up with his own pool stick and just plays pool and talks to the bartender.
Yeah.
Like that.
And it was always a dude bartender, and that sucked too.
Yeah, or it was some fat wife. So it was like, well, even if I get drunk, you're not even gonna fucking talk to me.
I can't even pretend to flirt with this.
Yeah,
dude, that was crazy. The Marine Corps was a crazy time. It's kind of funny that we went back on like a Thanksgiving stories, like for the Marine Corps. It was always an interesting time. That was an interesting time period. Holidays in general on military bases are kind of fucking whack, but they ended up becoming pretty fun. Like there was that picture of all of us and all dressed up on Ferk's house, on the Ferk's house for Thanksgiving. That was a good one. There was a lot of good times with it. And that was the thing. Like you it's kind of the thing that we always end up talking about is like you found like at the worst points in your life, like during the Marine Corps, like those holidays would be a hard time. You're away from family, you're away from friends that you grew up with and shit like that. But the people that that's the only thing that I would never take away from the military, and probably why I wouldn't like ever not join if I had the opportunity to do my whole life over again, is because, man, that it taught you like the one thing that it did teach you was like how to get over really depressing shit and also like make family where you're at, because that's the only way you can get through shit. And that was fucking fun. That was fucking fun.
It made us like appreciate the small things. Like, I don't know. There was like
playing croquet on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, playing cards or playing fucking croquet or just buying a steak and grilling it out back and eating it with your bare hands like an animal.
Yeah,
like
because you're drunk as fuck.
Yeah,
like I'm not gonna use a fucking fork and knife. Like I can't even hold on to anything.
And plus, dude, like when it's like 90% dudes, you just go back to like primal stage.
Yeah.
Like you start doing things that you in public around a bunch of dudes that you would never do in like normal society. Like never.
Yeah, exactly. It's so fucking wild. It was a good ass time though. That Oki was the best place in the Marine Corps to be at that time, I think. Like just because you could get away with a lot of shit, at least in our company. Like it was fun for our company. Our fucking like I'm glad that we didn't have to go anywhere else at that point in time. Like you started somewhere else, so you saw a different side of Oki than we did at first. But like my entire time was spent at 9th ESB, and fuck, I had a good time at 9th ESB.
Yeah, like I mean, I think it was just because the first place I was at was like closer to the generals.
Yeah.
So everything was more uppity and more like traditional Marine Corps shit. It's like weird, dude. It's like it's kind of like living in my county where I'm at, where like the government doesn't have as much influence here. So like government rules and edicts like don't necessarily apply the same. And it was like kind of like that's how Hansen was to being on Kinzer in Okinawa, where like Kinzer, the big dogs are around, so they enforce bullshit. But on Hansen, it's just a bunch of scumbags, like the degenerates that they forgot about.
Yeah, and Schwab was just as bad. But they didn't have Kintown. Yeah, they didn't have Kintown, so they were fucked regardless. At least we had fucking White Kitchen right outside.
Yeah, we had small perks, dude. We had small perks, but that was the only good thing about being down there by Kinzer, just because Naha was right there.
Yeah,
that was cool. Being able to like just go to Kokoside Street within like 5 minutes, like that was the only thing cool. But I'd much rather I'd much rather be in the atmosphere of the unit we were in than that fucking place, because it was.
And we were a small unit. We were also a small unit compared to like other units. Like 7th Comm had a shit ton of people. You were technically 3rd MLG like battalion or something like that.
I was CLR 37. That's what it was for like.
That's what it was. They were huge too. Like
yeah,
all of our stuff was all right next to each other. You had to go to fucking bulk fuel. It was a little bit of a walk, but it wasn't like you better just get a honcho. Like you had to get honchos everywhere on Kinzer and fucking
Well, I was in like the
Foster.
G2, so I was like the intel section for the general. It was fucking. So there was like that was probably the only time that I actually experienced being in like a normal Marine Corps unit, because we had like I don't know, like 20 to 30 people that was in my section down there. So it was like that was the only. And then I went to our small unit, and it went down to literally like 3 intel guys all together.
Yeah, I hated going down there and getting like maps from those fucking guys. They were so goddamn annoying. Especially inside that building, because that's like the general's building too. So they were like super fucking like prissy and I'm a corporal, and they all they all had like super gelled ass hair. I was like, you guys look like wannabe fucking officers that are corporals.
Yeah, well, there was a dude. Basically this guy became like basically the data bitch for the general, like the computer wizard for the general. And when I first met him in Okinawa, when I got there, he was a lance corporal, like just like I think he was just as long as I was. And then when I like a year and a half later, forgot why I went down there, but I went down there for something, and I was hanging out with my like friends I made when I was there, and he comes in just getting off work, and he was a sergeant, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I was like, I wasn't even a corporal yet, dude. Like or no, I think I just picked up corporal. I don't know, somewhere around there. But he was like, oh yeah, dude, I got meritorious promoted twice. I'm like, oh, it must be nice to be like the general's computer bitch, dude. Like, and he's like, yeah, that's pretty much why I'm a sergeant.
At least he was cool about it and wasn't like, I worked for this.
No, the guy's like, I do the exact same things as all the other guys. I just do it for the general.
That shit's wild. Well, before we start wrapping up, is there any current events you wanted to go over today before we get out of the Thanksgiving mode?
Dude, all I know is the Ghislaine Maxwell trials coming up.
Yeah, so, I think they were picking the jury this week. And I kind of hope what are they? Rakita Law?
Yeah, Rakita Law.
I hope he does some stuff with it, because I would watch the shit out of that. They're actually interesting and can explain things on a fucking layman's level.
Yeah.
Where some other people don't really quite do that. But I kind of want to see what comes out of it. I don't think we'll hear a lot, but if there's an open courtroom, kind of like the Kyle Rittenhouse case, I think there's some things that will come out that they can't cover up.
Yeah, I don't think it's not well, apparently, because this is a federal trial, that they can't video record it.
That's gay. I feel like that should definitely be video recorded.
I feel like that one should be video recorded more than any other trial going on right now, like that one should be the most.
It literally
recorded.
Implicates like fucking half the sitting presidents in the last decade, and then like or last 3 decades, and then like part of, you know, the world's most rich people in the world.
yeah I think there's gonna, I'm not getting my hopes up for like seriously damning evidence coming out, and even if it does, like nothing's gonna happen, but I think there will be some like little bit of interesting things that kind of at least point us in the right direction.
There's going to be some scarlet threads that come loose that fucking Paz can start tugging on.
Yeah, dude, there's this
Scarlet Thread Society.
There's this Twitter account that started like last week, and this guy, like his first tweet was like, this Twitter account is dedicated to following the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, and it's got like 200,000 followers.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I followed it.
Yeah,
like,
I followed it
instantly right when I saw it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And then the only other thing, another trial that I thought was interesting is all of Arbery's, Ahmaud Arbery's killers were convicted and said they were guilty on almost all accounts except like a couple.
That was an interesting one. I don't know all the details because I didn't look into it that much, but I did find out some stuff. Like, so apparently, well, the media framed this Arbery dude as like some jogger. I don't know if he was necessarily just a jogger as they put on. But it looked like, so that area had like
some break-ins,
a major spike in like property damage. Apparently that house that he was in, that he was under construction or whatever, apparently like a month before that a gun was stolen out of there, and I think that dude was like documented going
they thought it was him.
Well, also another interesting thing, but the guy one of the guys involved didn't know this, is he prosecuted. I don't know if he was a prosecutor or something, but he charged or whatever Arbery like years ago for like some other crime, but he didn't remember him. He had no idea. So that came out in the trial, because like if he would have remembered him, he could have been, because what the thing was is like the defense was trying to do like the citizens arrest self-defense clause or whatever.
Right.
But there's like 2 statutes to it where like one, you have to go in knowing that he was a felon or something like that. And then the other one,
You had
I
to see
forgot.
the crime happen.
Yeah, you had
That
to
was
see
the
the
big
crime.
one.
And
And
then
it came out that none of them had seen the crime happen.
yeah, exactly.
And it was like, well, then you didn't see a crime, so how are you going to arrest somebody?
yeah, and well, the thing is too, I don't know this, but apparently the judge is supposed to decide which statute they choose, and he left it up to the jury.
Hmm.
So I was like, kind of, I don't really know if how big of a deal that is, but I guess typically the judge usually decides for wherever. Where was it again?
Alabama, Louisiana,
I don't remember.
one of those.
But and the only other thing that was kind of really interesting about it was so at first the cops weren't even going to charge these guys.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until so a bunch of people in the area actually kept giving these McMichaels guys shit and calling them killers or whatever. And then the guy that recorded the video gave them the video. And it was like, see,
well,
we didn't do anything.
I think one of the best tweets I saw about it was like, if you're going to kill somebody, maybe don't get it and say self-defense. Maybe don't have your buddy follow you in a car and record it and then try to say that it was self-defense. And it's like,
yeah, it was, and then the only other thing
yourself there.
And the only other thing is that like the Aubrey Miller guy did try to like take this dude's gun. So like, I don't know. I'm not saying I didn't follow it enough to say anything. I don't know if it's straight up citizen's arrest or self-defense, but I don't know if like their verdict, because it's like how their trial is supposed to work is it's beyond reasonable doubt, like beyond reasonable doubt. So you have to have reasonable doubt and then go beyond that, whatever the fuck that really means. But
yeah.
So I don't really necessarily
know. I think that probably solidified it, and I'm sure we'll hear jurors come out. I'm still waiting to hear jurors from the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I really want to hear what went on in that room. And it may not be entirely truthful because they can make up whatever they want about it now. But same thing with the Arbery case is I think it'll be interesting because I bet you once he did go for the gun, but it was also after like putting his hands up and being like, whoa, like what the fuck? And the guys behind him recording him. And then the whole thing about them coming out and saying that they didn't ever see him commit a crime. I think the video and them saying that they didn't see him commit a crime. I think those two things probably played a big factor in them being like, yeah, this doesn't look like a straightforward, even though he did grab the gun. And the thing is, they can both be acting in self-defense. Like that's not a thing that's not like, just because one person's acting in self-defense doesn't mean the other person loses their right to self-defense. You know what I mean? So if they both reasonably thought they were both acting in self-defense, it doesn't really like change. But I think the whole part of them recording it, them not seeing him commit a crime, basically violating the whole citizen's arrest clause right there, and then tracking him down and recording them on the way. And then the owner of the building, like kind of being nonchalant about the whole thing. He looked bad on the stand, but being like, it wasn't that big of a deal. It didn't seem like nothing was weird about it. Like kind of playing into the whole trope. They were probably like, yeah, this looks more like an execute. It does look more like an execution than, a clear-cut self-defense case. And I think that's probably what they saw. I don't know. I don't know if it's right. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. But when I looked at it, when I watched the video when it first came out, last year, I was like, those guys just murdered that guy. Like they just fucking murdered him. Because why would you? I just didn't understand like recording it from behind and tracking him down. It's kind of like my whole thing with the Zimmerman and fuck, this is really bad. This is gonna make me look horrible. Yeah, Trayvon Martin.
That's it.
Yeah, where people were like, well, he should have never followed him out there. And I kind of tend to agree. Like you probably shouldn't follow him around the neighborhood. And obviously Zimmerman got acquitted based on self-defense. There was also no video. You can't really tell what happened. The signs of trauma on Zimmerman seem to back up his story. But I mean, I know how to make signs of trauma show up on my own face. Like, I'm not saying that's what happened, but like, it's just one of those things where nobody else saw it. If a person is, I honestly kind of believe, I'm not saying that there's probably a lot of libertarians that aren't going to agree with me. If you tell somebody to get out of here and they do, and then you follow them and then end up getting into a confrontation with them after they're getting out of here, you know what I mean? I tend to lean on the side of the person that was moving away from the property. Like, it's kind of the same thing with Kyle Rittenhouse. Whether he raised his gun or not, at the original point where the conflicts that happened when he saw Rosenbaum and the other two people, the man and wife, the one that dude that shot his gun off in the air, like there's Zeminski's or whatever.
Yeah.
Regardless if he showed his gun or not, after he moved away and started running away, I kind of don't think that you can go after that person anymore. Doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't really make sense to me in a point of self-defense. He's already retreated. You told them something to get the fuck out of here or whatever. They're retreating. They're going away. You can't really do a whole lot there, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, and there's probably a lot of people that disagree with me. And that's kind of how I see the Arbery case, where it's like the dude was had already committed the act that you didn't see, but you're just assuming. Like, you're probably in the wrong right there. Like, you can't just guilty until proven innocent. Relay a tip. Like, there's not really much else you can do, especially if you don't catch him on your property stealing your stuff. You know what I mean? And they're not even protecting the guy that got his stuff stolen. If Arbery actually did steal anything, was very nonchalant about it. And you can say that because of the eye of, the corporate media. And I understand that, but you can't force somebody to prosecute for you. You can't force somebody to push stuff for you.
And kind of like with all three of these cases, the Zimmerman, Rittenhouse, and the dude we were just talking about,
Arbery.
What's his name? Arbery. Well, all those cases are like citizens trying to take the law in their own hands.
Yeah.
And I think the reason, because I know that George Zimmerman, because they had a series of crimes in the neighborhood, he joined the Neighborhood Watch. And it's like all these things where it's like the bigger picture of all this is like police are failing at their job.
Absolutely. That's what everybody should realize from this.
Yes. Is like all these cases.
And it's not new, because Zimmerman was 2010?
I think Barack was fucking president.
2008. It might've been 2008. I want to say 2008.
And so it's like, there's going to be more cases where people want to defend their neighborhood or however they fucking can. Yeah. And it's because the police are completely failing to protect people. So people are saying, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And thank God, the Rittenhouse one, I think it was the most out of all of them, was the most clear case of self-defense out of all of them. And he was acquitted. And then George Zimmerman was acquitted. And these guys, they were convicted. And I don't really know what the answer should be.
And honestly, I think the difference is they probably wouldn't have been convicted if there wasn't a video.
Well, that's what's
probably
interesting,
wouldn't have been
because
convicted if there wasn't a video.
If the guy never gave up the video and the video never went viral, they would be chilling at home, not doing anything. But I just find it interesting in cases like this where people do take the law in their own hands. These are the ones that get fucking all three of these cases. The media has lied about them. Now,
absolutely.
All of them, they skew in a way, they make it look worse than it really is. I mean, they made George Zimmerman this racist dude, and he's a Mexican dude. So they called him a white supremacist, and it was if this guy is I don't really know. I don't remember all the facts of the fucking case. If this guy is such a bad dude, you can just fucking
say that he's a bad dude.
Yeah, tell us the facts of it. But when the media blows it up and they skew it one way or another, it makes my gut instinct is they're fucking lying.
Well, I love the fact that it's this is one of the things that I talk about. I know plenty of Mexican dudes, Hispanic people in general, that fucking hate black people, that fucking hate them. There's a big problem. There was a big problem in my school. They hated each other. They were in rival gangs. They hated each other. They hated black people and black people hated Mexicans. So just because a Mexican dude hates just generally black people, but people of color in general right now in the mainstream media can't be racist. So if they're Mexican and they hate the general population of black people, they're white supremacists. And it's like,
yeah,
they probably fucking hate white people too. Like I'm just saying, like they probably fucking hate them too. Like it's not like they're one way or the other. It's like, yeah, we hate black people because we uphold the white ethno state as a, you know, Puerto Rican and Argentinian male. Like, yeah, but we love white supremacy. Like, you know, like it just doesn't make any sense. That's kind of that was the weird thing about George Zimmerman when I went back and looked at a little bit of it, because I mean, when I was younger, I tended to the side of Trayvon Martin. That's kind of where I was at. He had fucking Skittles and I think a Gatorade, and everybody, you know, that was like the big thing. Yeah. I was in a fucking rap music video. This guy named King Los. You guys can go look this up. This is a little fun fact. This guy named King Los that did Put My Hoodie On. That's the song name. I was on MTV and I was I was one of 2 white people in this fucking music video with a black hoodie on in remembrance of Trayvon fucking Martin.
Well, you know, it's really well, like
you can go find it. It's funny as shit, because it's just, you'll see it, like, especially if you see my face, you'll see me instantly. Like I'm in there a couple times and it's really fucking funny to me.
That's hilarious, dude.
But you know, I even now I probably tend still to the side of Trayvon Martin, if you ask me honestly. I don't really remember the whole facts of the case, so my point's probably skewed to what I remember from it at that time period. So don't sit there and be like, you're a Trayvon. Like, I don't fucking know. I generally tend to believe, like I said earlier, that if you tell somebody to get away and they do, you probably shouldn't follow them anymore. And if it turns into a fight, it's probably because you're following them. And I think at that point, you're probably the aggressor. Probably. That doesn't mean I'm 100% correct. I'm not saying that. And there might be parts of that case that I misremember, like he didn't actually leave. He sat there and it all happened right outside of Zimmerman's fucking place.
I mean, we were in like high school, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm not saying that I know absolutely everything and Trayvon Martin was innocent. Fuck George Zimmerman. But I do tend to also believe that George Zimmerman was kind of a piece of shit just because of the way he reacted after everything, and you know, sold the gun that he killed Trayvon Martin with for like millions of dollars. That's pretty fucked up, but kind of funny.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he like did an auction for it, dude. He like made a lot of money off the gun.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, dude.
What a savage.
That's American history, baby.
Well, that's the thing, dude. Is like a lot of times too, is like cases that
and he's a fat fuck. Sorry, just
the ones that like the media blows up typically are like the ones that are like, it's just not that obvious a lot of times. Like they make it
very
seem like
gray area.
Yeah, they make it seem like at first, like obviously this person's guilty, but then you like look into it and it's just not as simple as they make it out to be. Like I know the George Zimmerman one, NBC, they got a lot of heat, but so George Zimmerman called the cops or whatever, and he's on the phone with the operator, and the operator asked him, what is the ethnicity of the perp that you're following? And he answers a black guy. In the NBC clip, they take out the part where the operator asked that question.
Oh, yeah.
So George Zimmerman, it looks like he's like, I'm following this guy.
He's a black
guy right away. And it's like, and like, I'm not defending anyone. Like, honestly, all these people mean almost nothing to me. Like, and like, in effect, like they have literally zero effect on my life. But it's always just interesting to me how
that I was in an MTV music video in remembering Trayvon Martin.
Dude, you're what's wrong with MTV these days.
With my hoodie on. It was a music video. They were actually playing music videos.
Oh, that's true.
Trayvon Martin was a saint to MTV because they actually played music videos.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's like, like they prophesize like just bad people. Like, I don't know about Trayvon Martin, but like, I'm not saying George Floyd deserved to die, but can we stop pretending like he's like this? He was the saint and he did a lot for Black lives. Like, this guy was on like drugs. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I can just hear all the libertarians right now be like, all right, typo, now do Kyle Rittenhouse.
It's just, like, I mean, I'm not, well, he's like me. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not. Like,
I still agree with the Chauvin case. I'm just saying that right now.
Me too. Like, I don't like. Obviously, I don't like. We talked about it on the podcast before. Like, I think the cop got what he deserved. I'm just like they hold
the only
people.
thing typo hates more than Black people are cops.
Yes. Well, and it's like, there's I don't like we got a lot of shit on our Instagram because people think we're like heroizing Kyle Rittenhouse. One, the memes are funny. That's why we fucking share them. Like, I don't even care if it's making fun of libertarians or anarchists, or if it's something that I completely disagree with. If it's funny, we post it on our Instagram. And two, I just thought it was the most clear-cut case of self-defense just from watching the fucking video. And it just seemed like, like it's something that's like,
it was fucking funny.
If it gets convicted, it doesn't like take away, even if Kyle Rittenhouse was a white supremacist, but everything else played out the same way. Should that change the verdict? No, not at all. No. Like, that's the thing. It's like, have some fucking like principles, just have some principles. That's my thing. Like, I'm not saying this kid's gonna be the hero.
Would I sit there afterwards and be like, yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit? And I would sit there and say the exact same thing. I'd be like, yeah, it was a clear-cut case of self-defense. Is that kid a piece of shit? Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He's a white supremacist. Hopefully his views change. Like, I'd be like, hopefully his views change.
I'm sure.
And people should try to change his views. Like, if he was a white supremacist. Like,
yeah, but
we
like
owe it to him that. We owe him that because obviously his family and the community that he was around failed him, because there's no reason to be a fucking white supremacist or an ethno-nationalist in today's day and age. I honestly believe that. I think you're a fucking dumbass if you believe that. But at the same time, that doesn't change that it was a clear-cut self-defense case.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The memes are fucking funny.
Even if it might even happen. Like 5-10 years from now, Kyle Rittenhouse could have a platform of some sort. I don't know what this kid can do. And he will say something that I completely disagree with. He might support the cops. I don't fucking know. Like, who fucking cares? I don't care. I don't care that he like supports Black Lives Matter. And like, I think he said in one interview, the one that I didn't watch, that he was like a Yang gang. He supported Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
It's like, who fucking cares? Like, who cares?
I loved Occupy Wall Street when I was fucking in 2008. Like, fuck, dude. Like, what do you expect? Like, people's views change, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, and it's just that's my perspective of all this. Is like, I don't care if like I don't know. Like, there's just certain things that like people they act like we're like heroizing this kid, and it's like, well, like, we were 17. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing when we were 17. And like, we would, like, if we were in Kenosha, like, is it possible that I would take up arms and go like, hey, I want to defend some car lot? Sure, it's very possible. But at the same time, it like, people just want to like, I don't know.
Been a
like,
rioter.
People, yeah, you probably would.
I would have been a rioter. All my friends would have been there, so I would have been a rioter.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is just like, but if like Kyle Rittenhouse literally shot protesters, like someone peaceful protesting, and he fucking like shot this dude for protesting, holding up a sign, like, I don't fucking know, then he deserves to go to jail. Like, then he deserves to, like, you don't get to just shoot people like that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, people they always connect it. They always connect the person instead of like what's actually happening.
What happened?
I don't really.
The situation. They connect
Yeah.
they connect the situation directly to the person, which I understand because the person is the direct cause of the situation. But like, we're talking about precedent and principle, right? Like that's the thing that we try to talk about, and those are the things that are like important to us, especially like you and I specifically. One of the reasons why we have a problem with the Libertarian Party in general is like I hate the politics side of it, of give and take. Like I don't like that. It's not a thing that I enjoy. I enjoy the principle of being principled. I think it's important. But I do understand like the argument of, well, your principles aren't winning. And it's like, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, maybe they're not winning fast enough. I tend to agree with that. I tend to agree with maybe the principles themselves are not winning fast enough that we might actually lose out on even being able to hold those principles. I tend to agree with that at this point in time. I understand. But if you ask me on situations what I think, I will tell you my principled position on it, what I actually believe to be true. What I'd actually do in the situation or whatever else might be a little bit different. And if I had to have that conversation, I'd probably have to look at it a little bit longer. It's very hard to decide. But when we're talking about this Kyle Rittenhouse thing, it's all about what the principle of it. It doesn't matter what Kyle was or what he was before. Like that shit doesn't matter to me. It doesn't fucking matter to me. Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't matter at all. Like Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't matter whatsoever to the fucking situation that we were talking about. The court case, he doesn't matter. The court case, in my opinion, like all that matters is that person A did this. Let's say Kyle Rittenhouse is person A. And if person A was switched out with fucking anybody in the world that went through the same thing, I would say the same thing about it.
Even Osama bin Laden. I would defend Osama bin Laden.
In that case, I would.
I would defend it.
It's like, would you go back and kill Hitler? Baby Hitler? I don't know. That's a weird question. Do I know that he's going to become Hitler?
Yeah.
Am I going to be involved in his life? Can I be involved in his life? Because I bet you I could stop him from being Hitler. If I'm involved with his,
I take his place.
Who's saying that I'm not?
Yeah, I would take his place, and then it wouldn't be 6 million, dude. It'd be 20.
Dude, he didn't kill 6 million. That's a fucking lie that the mainstream media told you, bro.
Yeah, that number seems a little high.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I don't understand I didn't understand the backlash, to be honest. I thought it was just childish, to be for real. I was like, you guys are, it goes back to, and this is where it may sound like I'm flip-flopping a little bit, and maybe I am. I don't know. I think everybody's a little hypocritical at some point in life. Like you can't help it with the way things are. It's kind of hard not to be hypocritical in instances, but I tend to agree with Pete where it's like you're living in Ancapistan in your head. And it's like, that's why I think it's childish for them to, sit there and call Kyle Rittenhouse a fucking bootlicker, because let's be real. They're following a page by 2 military fucking veterans.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, that's
what do you think I was doing at 18? I was the bootlicker. Like no joke. And then you're sitting here and trying to talk shit on this kid.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is like, people are like, oh, well, he's some bootlicker. I was like, dude, when he's 17, does that mean then you shouldn't be fans of us?
Yeah.
Because we effectively serve the state a lot longer and more than any sort of support that Kyle Rittenhouse gave to the cops.
And I was damn good at it too.
Yeah.
Put that on the resume.
Like we talked about it too. Like we were sad face because we didn't get to go kill brown people.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing in the military.
Yeah. Like, and that's why I thought it was childish. I was like, you guys are fucking being stupid about this. And it's like, I made a really poor dad joke on Twitter, and I was like, libertarians can't capitalize on anything. I don't know if you saw that one, but it was in all lowercase. But I was talking about this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, and that was the joke where it was like, they can't capitalize on anything because they're just so stupid about it. Like they literally cannot. And it was also a play on the fucking words capitalized. So I lowercased everything. I actually know the difference between the cases now. I knew that before, but I forgot. All the people in our Discord were shitting on me because like 3 episodes ago, I was like, it was SpongeBob speak, the SpongeNar speak. And I was like, it's like a half uppercase and then like regular case. I said something like that. But it made it even funnier. To me, it made it even funnier because I had that whole blunder on the fucking show. So I was like, libertarians can't capitalize anything. But it was just, it's fucking ridiculous the way these people act about Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, and I literally told the one guy that was freaking out about it on our page, I was like, I'm going to post more just to piss you off. I hope you unfollow at this point. I hope you do, because I'm just going to continue shoving Kyle Rittenhouse down your throat just to piss you off because I think you're being a child about this.
Yeah.
And they won't unfollow. Not because they think that we're like God's gift to earth. It's because they want to argue it for the rest of the fucking till their time is done on this earth. And you know what? Like, fine, argue it on every single post. You will be doing it for a long time because the more that you comment, the more I will post.
Yeah, and the more comments and shit, the more viewers and more people are coming to our page. So I don't fucking care.
Yeah. I think that's the one part where people are like, well, maybe you're kind of being hypocritical because you're talking about the principled think. And then I also agree with Pete where you can't live in Ancapistan in your head. But I also don't necessarily believe that those two things are separate. I feel like I can be principled and still understand that we're not in fucking Ancapistan. I don't think that's a hard subject to broach. Like, I don't think that's a hard thing to disagree with. I don't agree with Ron DeSantis, and I think he probably will be at least the candidate for the Republicans in 2024. I honestly believe that. I think it's probably a good decision for a lot of people to vote for them. If Dave Smith and, Maj Tory run, I'll probably still vote for Dave Smith and Maj Tory just because. Yeah. Does that mean if Ron DeSantis loses because my vote, even though we say constantly that voting doesn't matter, you're going to get mad at me because I vote for Dave Smith and Maj Tory and Ron DeSantis doesn't win? Oh, fucking well, dude. It's not going to change my, yes, it changes my day-to-day life on what these fucking people do. But I don't think Ron DeSantis is going to be a plus for liberty. It's going to be a plus for liberty in certain aspects. But guess what? He's just going to do the same thing that every other Republican has done. Bet you he does probably a more populist craziness of it.
Or if he tries to do anything different, he'll just get railroaded by Trump, just like Trump did. Like Trump,
I just don't see it. I don't see that being any different. So I might as well get the people that I actually believe in, that actually hold the same principles that I truly believe in, onto a stage where they're talking to millions and millions of people. Because guess what? That's the only way that I made it, was realizing that there was people out there that had these ideas. I thought it was just Republican and Democrat.
Yeah, like I didn't even know the Libertarian Party existed until honestly, 2015, 2014.
Well, I just thought everybody that wasn't Republican or Democrat were independent. I didn't realize that there was difference of, libertarians, Green Party, this, that, or the other. I had no idea. So guess what? If Dave Smith, Maj Tory fucking go, or Dave Smith, Cohen go, I'm fucking down for that. I'll fucking vote for them I'll donate money to them. We'll donate money from this podcast to them just to fucking get them on a stage that they get to talk to millions of more people, because at least it's a fucking start. And to be honest with you, I don't trust Ron DeSantis farther than I can throw him. And that's a heavy man.
I think he's a great governor of Florida, and I think he should stay there.
Yeah. And, if you ask me, would I rather DeSantis over Biden? Yeah, I would. It'd be a lie if I said I didn't. But it's just like voting DeSantis in to get Biden out is just like all the people that voted in Biden to get Trump out. So why would I want to continue that cycle? I'll just trying to make and live my life as free as possible, and those around me as free as fucking possible. And that's by either getting financially free, where their taxes don't mean shit to me. It's one thing I do agree with from fucking libertarian Jesus that always hangs out with Vin Armani. I don't remember his name right now.
Matt
But-
Erickson?
Yeah, Erickson. That's one thing I agree with him. I think the way he goes about it is kind of ridiculous, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but I agree with him. Make it so taxes don't matter. I get it. I don't think that's the way, but I think it's a way. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to continue putting money into things that I honestly believe in will further freedom. And that's whether it's campaigns, certain types of crypto. There's only one type of crypto that I would ever put money into. And then, and that's Bitcoin, just so everybody's fucking clear. And then, you know, getting more hands-on with rifles and firearms and anything else of that sort. And, you know, trying to get as many people to move that agree with me into GOMAS. Fucking let's go with fucking GOMAS land or Car Campit land down in fucking Texas or Georgia. Like, I don't care. Let's fucking do it. I like those are the ways that I think we get out of this thing. It's not, and try to fucking secede or I don't know, something. Like, there's tons of options. Not all of them are quick fixes, but we're not getting out of this quickly. Like, that's like, everybody thinks this is going to be fucking quick. And maybe it is, because the federal government just collapses because it can't hold itself anymore. But once that happens, I hope I'm in the position that I'm where I want to be. And there's a community around me that also agrees in the same things that I do. And we're just fine, because guess what? We did everything that we thought we could to prepare for the inevitable. And that's either the collapse of the United States government or us saying, fuck you, we don't care about the United States government, and doing our own thing. And they can't do anything about it. So that's the goal.
God, what's his name? The dude up in middle of nowhere, Arizona. Adam Kokesh, dude.
Adam Kokesh.
He like created as basically like a commune type thing, and then declared independence. I don't know how that's working out, but
yeah, me neither. All I saw him was bitching about Joe Rogan deleting an episode of his like a couple weeks ago.
That's the only thing I see of his tweets now. He just gets up.
I'm just like,
like some old ass episode that I guess Joe Rogan did delete or whatever. I don't fucking know.
Let Spotify delete, but it's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like, that sucks, but like, I can't. I don't have any feelings towards those things one way or the other. But like, and that's kind of, it sounds bad, but towards a lot of people, I don't have feelings one way or the other towards you. Like, it's not, I hope maliciousness on you, or I hope everything in the world for you. I don't know you. I don't care. The most important thing is myself, my friends, my family. That's how it should be. Get inside your community, work with those people. Like, that's the only way to get out of all this shit.
Yeah. Like, kind of like Kokesh is doing. Build your own community.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's fucking phenomenal what you're doing up there. I don't want to live up there though. So it's a little far out there, and you know, they smoke a lot more weed than I do. And that's because I smoke
probably
zero.
other things.
Yeah. Maybe probably other things too. And you know, fuck, a lot of PTSD veterans in one place. I'm just gonna get like wash off PTSD from them.
Yeah.
I don't need that. I had it with Jared. But I don't know. That's just my whole spiel on that.
Well, that's all I got.
That's all you got?
My headphones are dying. So
okay. Well, that's the fucking shit show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We need to really start throwing our plugs out for our website and
bitingthebulletpod.com. They give you everything.
And our merch at the beginning of the episode. We need to do that. But yeah, go check that shit out. And well, Typo, it was good talking to you.
Good talk. My headphones just died.
That's the fucking shit show. We out.